how would you like to have an extra 5,800 views from a live stream? How would that be? Well, that's what happened. I ran a test and, well, I'm going to share with you the results. We're going to see how the heck did this even happen and how I posted it on an off day, a day that I don't normally post. It was actually on a weekend. And I decided to do the test. And within 24 hours, we were able to get over 5,800 views from a clip that already existed. And, well, to go over this, I've got my son, my lead editor. Here he is. Let's get him in the show here. There he is. So, Scotty, we are going to be breaking this down. We're also going to be sharing the intro, which I think the intro is always a big part. And we're going to kind of walk people through the numbers, but also how they can take a live stream and take a portion of it and strategically do it beforehand. But then from there, upload that thing separately. And we've been doing this over and over and over again for the last probably almost a year now. Yep. And it's been working really, really good. So let me just pull up the numbers here and then we can break them down and we can kind of share. It's a little show and tell here. So let's go ahead and pull that up. And there we are. All right. So you can see right now, and I don't know, Scotty, if you've seen all of these numbers, but we're up 64% more than some of our regular views, which is insane. But this here has 9,500 views right now since published. But let me go ahead and show you the first 24 hours. So I'm going to go here, first 24 hours. And then look at that. It's actually 5,900 views, which is pretty awesome. 430 hours of watch time, 17 subscribers, and $73.17. Not too bad. Scotty, why do you think this is the case? Do you have any hunch why this might have happened?
A couple things. First, I want you to pull up the title and the thumbnail of this so we know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Because I think we always got to start with topic. Topic's always probably going to be number one. The next thing that we will talk about a little bit later is the retention and how we got that the viewers to stay and really dig into what we're talking about or what you were talking about in this video. So here it is. So, oh, we got to add.
Yeah, I got to get rid of that. There we go.
So yeah, Etsy shuts down 1.2 million listings for copyright and trademark violations. Number one, before we even look at the thumbnail, the title right there, when you see 1.2, anything million, when you see million, your eyes are going to draw attention. Doesn't even matter.
Scotty, let me also point something else out. Whoever posted this, I think Scotty did. It's the million isn't even properly spelled.
I'm surprised we didn't get any comments on that. Hey, I will say though, I just copy and paste the things you send me, so you must have typed it in wrong.
I probably spelled it wrong.
I didn't catch it.
Yeah, and it must have been quick because I must have just missed it because you can see in the thumbnail it was. Hey, but I guess you don't even need it to be spelled properly in order to get it to work.
That's
so we're gonna have to fix that, but we'll do that after the fact.
Yeah, but it's the biggest thing with this title, thumbnail, all of that is it's a big shock. So if you're part of the community of Etsy or whatever niche you're in and you use a shock factor, the wow factor, whatever, and you talk about something drastic, especially news relevant stuff, like this is going to grab attention. So off the bat, before we talk about any retention, anything, they're going to click on this video. And that's, you can look too. What was your click-through rate on this one?
Click-through rate on this one.
That'll pretty much tell you too.
Yep. Let's go into here. And the click-through rate was 9%.
That's in the first 24 hours.
That's first 24 hours. So the other thing I want to share here is like when you first come out of the gate, you're generally going to have a higher click-through rate than you will as it starts to get introduced to more audiences, because as YouTube sees it starting to work, then you know that you're probably going to start getting shown to more audiences. And when you start getting put out there to more of a broad audience, your click-through rate's going to go down. But we always look at this like our first 24. If we're above a 10, we're gonna let it hold. We're not going to really monkey with it. But you can see here, this is like, it's kind of like up and down, 8, 7.5, 8 again, back up to 8, down, right? And here we are. This is first 24. Let's see what it is. Let's see here. Let's just do since published. Let's do this. Yeah. So you can see here, it's down in 3. Then it went back here to 4, 4.8. So yeah, it's a little bit all over the place.
Yeah, it looks like though, when you see that first jump initially,
Yeah.
I think it was putting it at your right audience, and then it wanted
Yep.
to broaden your audience and try to see if we can get any more views out of that, and that's why it went down,
Mm-hmm.
because it probably didn't find as much wherever it was testing it. But
Mm-hmm.
if you did notice, go back to the overview tab, right next to reach. Yep, and go to the. Can you slide up? How'd you have it before where it said your percentage of where you were at with that? Because you know how it was up like 64%? I'm trying to get that screen
Oh,
back up.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
anyway, in that it said majority of those views were coming from recommendations,
Mm-hmm.
from the
It's
YouTube
right here.
recommendations,
Yeah.
which is huge. Yeah, your browse feature
Browse and your
and
suggested.
suggested.
Yeah.
So number one, it's not even people just searching, which searching is down low. So you're still getting some search, but that browse and that suggested, that's them testing it with those audiences. So you
Yeah.
always want those higher. That way you can get your video pushed out there.
Now, let me just say this though, before we keep going here. Let me remind you, like, this is a clip from a live stream. I'm going to show you that live stream here in a second, and we'll see how that did, and how this one actually outperformed it. But the reason why I wanted to share this also is because this clip came from a live stream. I also posted it on a day that I don't normally post. I normally post on a Friday. And what we decided to do is we wanted to do another live because we had some news coming out in the community. So we wanted to do that on a Friday. So we pushed that one off. And then we just published it on a Saturday. And then all of a sudden we're like, oh my gosh, should we post on Saturdays? And we did test it again. And we had a pretty good little test result. But I do think it's the topic, right? It's the topic, the thumbnail, it really hit. So I did want to just say that, but we are going to share the live stream that this came from. And the reason why I call this my double dipping strategy is because it already exists. But we talked about this before on the channel, which is probably why you should subscribe to the channel, because we're giving you all of the behind the scenes stuff. And really the strategy behind it is we pre-plan. Like, we planned that clip. Okay. And I say a clip, it's not a short. It can be, gosh, it can be 5 minutes. It could be 15 minutes. It could be 20 minutes. And every single episode that we do on a live stream, we plan 2 or 3 subtopics, which we just had one go out this morning, which, Scotty, we could share that too. We're here.
As of
And
right
we
now,
can do that after. We're up over, we're over 2,000 views on the one that we released this morning from another clip. And that one there is doing, it's a 2 out of 10 right now. But we'll show that a little bit later. So hang tight. All right. So let me go back to this here, and anything more on this, Scotty, before we move on to the live itself.
I think we're good on all this.
And just so people know, this was 11 minutes and 6 seconds.
Yeah.
Right. 11 minutes and 6 seconds. And let's also see here real quick. Let's look at the engagement. So average is 4 minutes and 3 seconds. Okay. So 4 minutes from an 11-minute. So it's not quite half. It's like, and it'll give us that here. What's it? 36.5% retention. And then here's the retention graph. We'll go over this too. So hang tight. We're going to kind of do a whole segment on just that. But yeah, and we're above 73% of viewers are still watching at around the 30-second mark. And that's because of the intro, and Scotty will talk about that as we get into that. We'll show you what that looked like. But yeah, this is all cool stuff. And 4 minutes, you can see here, it kind of fluctuates too. That's 4 minutes, 28. And then here, about the same. We had a little bit of a dip, but the average is over 4 minutes. To have someone's attention for 4 minutes, it's a pretty long time.
Oh yeah.
So I'm happy with that. And then just to see our audience here. So this here was returning, and then we had the new. So a lot of them were returning, but we did get some new. And we're getting new still. Look you're still getting new. You know, this video is
Click
still
on the other one though, unique.
Oh, the unique. Yeah. So these are all unique. So it's good stuff. I like it. All right. So it's at 9, and you can see over here too in the last 48, still gotten 68. I mean, right here, look at it's 3 views last hour, another one there, another 3. These are all hourly. So it's still getting views. And this was done, let's see here. That's done probably about 3 weeks ago. And it's still getting views. Okay. All right, let's move over to the actual live stream, which was right here. Okay. And I'll have to, because this was a live, and I'd have to see where the thumbnail and stuff is, but I can do that afterwards. But this one here is huge Etsy updates, new threats and opportunities in 2024. Okay. So this is our weekly live stream. This was done 2 weeks ago, and it's got 8,000 views on it right now. So the live stream got 8,000 views, and then the clip that we did outperformed it, which is totally fine. And that is, let's see here. Let me go back. Let me just pull up the analytics on this one, and we'll kind of get down to it here. Let's see. Okay. Well, okay. That's not the analytics that I wanted. Average view duration on the live though. Check this out. This was 1 hour and 30 minutes. This was 90 minutes long. Oh, there's the thumbnail. Okay. So 1,002 views within that, that live stream. As we were live, we had that many people coming in and out. Our peak was 242. And then, it average view, 20 minutes. People were hanging out with us, which is crazy. Absolutely crazy. But let me go back to here, and I want to pull that up, that live. Okay, here it is. I don't know why it went into that. I didn't want to do that.
No, that's not the live.
Oh, it's not the live. Okay. It is
one more. Yep.
Here.
One more.
This is it.
Yeah.
This is the live. Okay. So this is the live. It got 6,900 views. Okay. 6,900 views. And look, it's still getting views right now. Right now, this is hourly. Okay. This is kind of crazy. Suggested and browse. Not a huge amount, but it's still getting them. And I'm done, right? It's over with. But the way I always like to look at these is like, this is a recording session. Okay. With what Scotty and I are doing right now, we take this as a recording session. We're going to actually record. We're going to share with you some retention stuff, but that's going to turn into a separate clip for this channel. Okay. The live video school. But this one here, I mean, just looking at it, let's look at the reach. So it's reached 64,900 impressions. The click-through rate was 5.3. So out of the gate, it was 6.5. Not that great. Lives usually on the click-through rate after the fact are usually lower. But I like to see them above 3. But you can see it's doing okay. It might be time to update the thumbnail, depending on how many impressions it's still getting. Let's do this. Let's look at the last 7 days. I'm just curious. Yeah, it's still getting 4,500 impressions last. The click-through rate's 2.7 on average and 290 views. So this is where you might want to come in and play around with the thumbnail and go, let's test the thumbnail because we're still getting impressions. Can we convert them into, if instead of getting 3% and we get 6%, we're going to get double the views. So that's kind of how that works. Anything on this here, Scotty?
No.
Okay. So I just want people to understand, like we had, and I think people, they look at the live, right? They look at the live as, we're going to go ahead and we're going to show up live, and we might have, like us right now, we have one person watching, right? And whoever that one person is, oh, it's Dream Talking with Vicky. Hi, taking notes. Awesome. And hey, do us a favor. The one person that's here, or if you're watching this later, do us a favor, like this and subscribe to the channel. That'll help this get more views. But this here right now, we have one person watching, but even if we didn't have one person watching, okay, live, this is going to live on. Okay. And you have to just treat it as you're showing up right now. You're recording this as your video, but you also are showing up for anyone that is here live. But I always think about the long tail, right? So this video will go on and it will potentially get picked up by the algorithm. Maybe now, maybe in a week from now, maybe in a month from now, maybe 6 months from now. It's going to live on our channel. But the cool thing is, and you're going to see us do this in real time, is we're going to talk about retention. And then we're going to create a whole nother video that's going to get cut from this. Because in reality, we saw, and Scotty, you saw that 20 minutes someone's on. That was 90 minutes long. Do you know where those clips are generally inserted or created? About the 60-minute mark. Or if you're doing a 60-minute, it would be after the 30 minutes. We're probably going to do the the subtopics. Well, here's the deal. Most people aren't making it to the end. So no one's ever seeing them. So you're bringing that back to the surface, and you're allowing people to not have to sit through an hour or an hour and a half. So anyway, that's the big takeaway I want people to understand. Is like right now we're recording this as if we were to sit down and record a video. Not editing anything right now. The only edits that I'm doing right now is I'm switching and I'm using StreamYard. And Scotty, what's our link for StreamYard if people want to try it out?
StartYourLive.com.
StartYourLive.com. We should probably have a banner for that. Oh, we do. Look at that. StartYourLive.com. And that's the other cool thing you get to do in StreamYard is you get to use their little banners that you have there. So StartYourLive.com. If you go there, you will buy us a cup of coffee, which Scotty likes his cold brew. I like my hot coffee. And you'd go through our affiliate link, but StartYourLive.com. But yeah, so if I want right now, like we're in split screen, I can go, okay, I'm going to go full screen and I'm making a point and I'm talking and I'm going to be explaining something, right? So I just made a little bit of a cut and I'm using that internally within a software like StreamYard. And then I can switch back to, we're in this view. So now all of a sudden that happened. Now, normally either myself or Scotty, whoever's going to be doing the editing, and in this case, Scotty's been doing all the editing, he'd have to go in and he would have to edit that. But the cool thing is when we're doing stuff like sharing the screen even, okay, I'm giving people the other things to look at while I'm doing this live. So it's not just a talking head the entire time. I can also switch you here to where we're over in this side and we can have that position. We can also go on top of the screen like that. We can do the view that I just shared before. We can do that too, Scotty. Have you ever seen that before? We can switch there. And I'm not sure if I can switch you around. I don't think I can. You would have to be in the main, I think. Oh yeah, there we go. And then what happens if I do that again? Yeah, now I'm back to that. Oh, that's cool too, though. So I like that one. Yeah, I can have that up on the screen as I'm talking about it if I was solo. And you can also do your own. You can create your own custom ones, which we won't get into all that stuff. But there's a lot that you can do. And what's happening now is like if Scotty started to talk about a certain topic, I can go boom, and then he's in full frame, right? Say something interesting.
Yeah, just honestly, the whole thing with the StreamYard and being able to do all these cuts, it's if you're solo doing, you don't have an editor, it makes everything so much easier. Like we're going to talk about that with the retention and everything. But once you look at any of the clips that we take from the live stream, 90% of it, I don't touch any edits because it's already done beforehand. Like right now, you just did that cut. This comes on the screen. If it was me editing it by myself, I would have went on there and I would have had to put it on the screen. I would have had to zoom in on stuff where it's already up there. So that's honestly the biggest thing I see with StreamYard is being able to do that. And for those who say, I don't have enough time to edit, then do your live and go on here and do this and do all your jumps in here. And then there's your edit if you don't want to edit and still make it look professional, but also make it look engaging to the viewer. And we're going to talk about that when we talk about retention is really the first 30 seconds to a minute is really all you need to focus on.
Yeah, it's true. See this one here now? I actually created this little slide on how we're presented. So I made us fill up the screen more on the left and I pushed the other over. I'd already pre-done that in StreamYard. I'll do videos on this in the future and showing you guys how to use StreamYard. So if you, again, want to see that stuff, make sure that you subscribe to the channel, make sure that you like all that fun stuff. But yeah, so I can literally come in here and I just did that one view, right? That we're like that. Now we're here. We're in a little bit of a little bit wider, but not so much, right? Like it's not filling up the entire screen. And then if I want to go here where we are full, like up in your face.
Now, can you go back to the the screen, the one before with filled in? Yeah, can you fill in the whole the YouTube part of it so it takes away that little
black strip?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would have to do that. So like here,
And that's close.
it's
but
funny though, but watch this. You know what we're doing this on the fly, guys. So like here, if I take my browser window and go like this and I'm shrinking it, it fills it. Isn't it weird?
Oh, that is.
So all I got to do is that. I don't have to even create a new slide.
Oh, I like that though.
And then the other thing that you can do also with your thing. So let's say I wanted to go in here, I could just plus, you know, Apple or Command, what if you're using a Mac, and then just plus, and I can zoom in.
Yep.
So that way there it's bigger. And you can do all that stuff. So yeah, there's a lot you can do within StreamYard. I like this view where you and I are a little closer, but then if we want to show more of the screen, we can totally just go back to which one was it? I think it was that one, right? But now see how that's off a little bit. So then I'd have to go in here and I'd have to that's why you kind of want to get like one or two that you like on how it is. And then you kind of, what's that?
And just stick with it.
Yeah. And then just stick with it. So that way there, you're not monkeying around. Oh my gosh, we got another viewer, Scotty.
I know someone said, is this live? This is live right now. This is live. But guess what? You will see this also as a separate video, separate clip, because that's what we are doing. We're double dipping on our content.
The double dipping method. Yeah. So cool. All right, cool. So City X Giddy. I'm not sure, but hey, look at that. Is this live? In fact, it is. Great info. I have StreamYard. Awesome. And I know Dream talking with Vicky is going to be doing some YouTube stuff if she hasn't already started. But I love the idea of breaking down people's dreams. I think that's really cool. All right. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to talk a little bit about retention. So Scotty, here again in real time, you guys are watching this. So it's almost like you're seeing it happen, and then you're probably going to see this clip appear in the next week. Okay. So we're going to be talking about retention. So I'm going to go ahead and get that queued up. And then what we'll do is we will break down the retention on that video. So I'm going to get that loaded up. So this way here, I'm all prepared. And let's see here. While I'm doing that, let's see here. I'm going to go into engagement. We're going to get that and you guys are going to see it. Okay, cool. So here we go. I'm going to go full screen once again. See, I'm going full screen. So this way here, this is like the first part of the video. But the other thing is within StreamYard, we're recording each of our feeds separately in HD. So if we want to later, we can use those, and we can if we had our internet go a little fuzzy, we can come in and clean that up. You can do that all in post edit, but right now we're recording locally, which is a whole nother topic, which we'll talk about another time. All right. So let me go ahead and set this up. And Scotty, what did we say that the topic was going to be more about? Oh, like how to create intros to your videos that people like, they're addicted to your videos.
And how to get your viewers addicted to your videos.
Yeah. Okay, cool. All right. So we're going to break down how to get your viewers addicted to your videos. And it starts with the intro. So what we decided to do is, well, we're going to share with you an intro that got a 73% retention in the first 30 seconds. So that's what we're going to do. And I have my lead editor, my son, Scotty, and we are going to do this together. We are going to look at a video, and this video right here, I'm going to go ahead and scroll up here so you can see. This is the video we're going to be looking at. There's the retention. This video right now has gotten 9,500 views in the last 3 weeks. And by the way, this was a clip that we pulled out of a live stream. And that's another thing that we talk a lot about on this channel. So make sure that you subscribe and make sure that you like this video so you get more. But let's go down here, and we are going to look at this here. Average percentage viewed is 36.5% of this video. And this video is 11 minutes and 7 seconds long. Now, it is underperforming on what the typical is, but what I really want to focus on is this part right here. Okay. I want to focus on this part here. I also want to focus on this part in this part because there's a reason why these two little bumps are here. And it's also something that I want Scotty and I to talk about for future videos and learn from that, because I think that could help us increase our retention. All right, Scotty, is there anything you wanted to say before we actually watch the first part of this clip, and then we can kind of break it down on what you actually did for retention?
No, I mean, biggest thing is, and we talked about this earlier, which is just the title and the thumbnail. Very important in this. And the biggest thing that I want you to kind of like watch with us is while we are breaking down the intro of this video, see how we create that promise that we talked about and we deliver on it, because you're going to see in the title and the thumbnail, it's going to relate to exactly what we're talking about in the first 30 seconds. And it's going to make that viewer say, okay, I'm here, I'm in the right spot, I'm getting the information I want, and I'm going to want to continue getting that information because it seems like I'm in the right place for that. That's I think a problem I see with a lot of videos is a lot of people don't deliver on the promise until 2-3 minutes in. And by that time, your audience is gone, your viewer is gone. You need to give that in the first 30 seconds. And it doesn't mean you have to say the title word for word,
Right.
but you do need to have relevancy of what you're talking about. So then the viewer is like, okay, I clicked on this, I got what I wanted, and I want to hear more now. Like that's what you need to be thinking. Like besides as a video creator, you got to think as a viewer what you would want if you clicked on a video, what you would want to hear right away, that you know you're in the right place and that you're going to get the most out of that video. So you're going to see that. So when you're watching this intro, I want you to take notes on that and what he's saying, and also how the edits are kind of corresponding and the visuals that you're getting with it.
Yeah, well, and I also want to say, even like this video, right? You clicked on this video because of a thumbnail, because of a title, and now we're going to deliver on that promise, and we're going to show you how we have an intro, somewhat of a formula to allow us to get at least above a 70%. That's always our target, to get above 70% retention, which is really above average for a lot of videos. You can always improve retention along the course of the video, but we're really going to be focusing on that first 30 seconds, because I think that's where a lot of people do not get that part right. So let me go ahead and let's go ahead and play a little bit. And Scotty, let me know if you can hear this, because I think it's important that we can actually hear the video. And this is the one that is here. So, and there's okay. We probably again should say that's the thumbnail. Okay, and that's the title. Okay, Etsy shuts down 1.2 million listings for copyright and trademark violations. And yes, we know that that is not spelled right. And that was partially my fault because, well, when I was doing it, I must have just not keyed in the other L, and I was in a hurry. And when Scotty put that in the title, just copy and pasted it, and he didn't find it either. So you can even do well, even if you can't spell. I guess that's what it's telling us. But I do know that you spell million with 2 L's. But besides that, good title, good thumbnail, gets the attention. And then from there, we need to deliver on that. And this is 11 minutes and 6 seconds. We're not going to watch the entire thing, but this was a live stream that myself and my business partner in Brand Creators, the channel that we are kind of sharing here with you, behind the scenes stuff. So let's go ahead and let's listen to the very first 30 seconds. We'll break it down. And Scotty, let me know if you can actually hear the video or if I have to change it.
I'll give you a thumbs up. Can't hear it.
Okay. I think it has to do with sharing. So I have to go into the share feature. So Scotty, this is where you'll probably clean this up and post.
Yeah.
So see,
but while he's figuring this out,
yeah,
one thing I want to talk about too that we can look at with the title right there is the capitalizing of the words. One thing that we do is we try to take those wow factors are the things that's going to draw the attention in, and you really want to emphasize those. So that's why you put them in bold like that, and you do all caps. So in that thing, instead of just just capitalizing Etsy or violations or whatever, like shut down. So Etsy shut down, and then you put your number 1.2 million or whatever. If you're an Etsy seller and you see it's about Etsy from the thumbnail, and then you look down and you see shuts down 1.2 million, like you're going to be like, oh shoot, I hope that's not me, or I hope that doesn't happen to me, or I wonder why that's happening, whatever. But that shuts down is like that's that thing that it kind of hits you a little bit if you're in that community. So just keep that in mind when you are whatever niche you are in, and you are creating content. Make sure that your thumbnail, you're putting that emphasis on the words that will pop out the most to the viewer. That's going to make them feel something. Because again, it's all about emotions too. You want to feel the emotion. So you could feel it earlier with the thumbnail and the delete and all of that. But then when you see shuts down 1.2, in your head, you're thinking, oh, I hope that doesn't happen to me. I wonder why that's happening. You're thinking all these things. So it's kind of emphasizing that. So one thing to keep note of with the title.
Yeah. And I would also say too, like we're talking about something like negative. It doesn't have to be negative if it's something positive. So I'm just thinking like we have Dream Talking with Vicky on here. If she was to break down a dream and be like, what did my dream last night mean? Or she discovered what her dream meant last night, right? Something for curiosity, I also think needs to be kind of baked in. So it doesn't need to be bad, or you could turn that into like, is it bad that I dreamt that last night or something like that? So there's ways that you can do it that still aren't negative. You can turn it into a negative and then turn it into a positive. But yeah, you want to look at some of these power words or some of the things that's going to invoke curiosity is really what we're looking at here. So let's go ahead and let's listen. Tell me if you can hear this, Scotty.
Etsy has a little bit of an intellectual property problem. And so it's interesting, Scott, that the same team that's responsible for the handmade policy and all those kinds of things is the team that is responsible for the intellectual property side. So copyright, trademarks, all of those kinds of things. And they took down 3.8 million listings for handmade policy violations. And they are saying that last year they took down 1.2 for IP violations. Now, I don't know
30 seconds.
Yep. There's your 30 seconds. So 30 seconds. I'll just say what I saw and then you can, go off of your piece. First thing is, so we did some jump cuts in there. If you don't know what jump cuts are, and you haven't implemented those yet, or you don't know how to do those, I did create a video on that. So you can go ahead and check that video out. We'll put that in the description. Now, so there's some jump cuts going in. There also is some B-roll that we're putting up on the screen. The visual is to give you as the viewer a better representation of what we're talking about. So that way, again, you're in the right place, but also it's making you feel some sort of emotion towards it, that this is really happening. Because if you don't see it and so someone's just saying that, you might not believe it. But being able to see it on screen, now you're believing what you're seeing. Seeing is believing. So you're going to see that, and now you're going to be like, okay, yep, this is actually happening. Wow, I can't believe this. Let me hear more. Couple things with that. First we put an Etsy store. The other thing is we took actual posts from a blog or whatever of Etsy and highlighting over that. So a couple things, when you play it again in a minute, you're going to see, number one, on those images, we kind of zoom a little bit on it. If you just put a static image up on a screen, it's not as appealing as it is if it's moving a little bit. So that's like some tedious stuff that I do that, again, you don't have to do, but does make your video a little bit better. Another thing you may have noticed, may not, sometimes you might want to add some sounds in there. So you'll see when I was doing the highlighting thing, I did like a little marker, sound like a little marker was highlighting it. Again, it's a little extra stuff. If you don't have time for that, you don't have to do that, but it does make your videos look a little bit better. But also when you hear a sound going along with something, it's almost a satisfying factor that people are like, oh, that makes sense because it's going across. So I'm imagining someone really doing that. So for instance, it was the marker. So I'm really thinking of someone doing it besides just, a text going over it, hearing that. Now I'm like, okay, I'm putting two and two together. This is all making sense. And then we're going to the 30-second mark, which is where now you're in the split screen or the example like we're in right now. And the biggest thing with that is your first screen is a big thing on it, which we're going to talk about, which is the 1.2 million. So the reason you clicked on the video was the 1.2 million. And the first thing you see when you're breaking it down is 1.2 million. All right, I got to hear about this now. That's where you're at.
Yeah. So let's kind of break it down like frame by frame in a sense. So let's go here real quick.
Etsy has a little bit of.
So see that slow pan back. So all that he's doing there, and again, we'll have other videos on the channel that'll show you how to do this stuff. It's not hard. You can do it right in CapCut, free. So it's not hard to do. And so that right there, immediately though, as you're viewing it, it's got a little bit of slow movement
of an intellectual,
and then immediately it comes boom back at you now, right? So you're immediately now, even if you didn't have these zooms, if you cut and you just had different cuts, it's going, if you ever watch a commercial and you see it's kind of cutting, that's because it's keeping your attention and you're following. It needs to make sense. So like in this case, he's talking about, let me go back here again. He's talking about intellectual property, and it's really known on Etsy that Disney is being violated. So watch.
Etsy has a little bit of an intellectual property problem. And so
right there, intellectual property problem, boom, Disney right there on the front page. And then you see a little bit of the scrolling of the page.
it's interesting, Scott, that the same team that's responsible for the handmade policy.
Now, handmade, right? You found the handmade policy inside of Etsy and you started highlighting the handmade policy to draw attention to it.
And all those kinds of things is the.
And then if you go back, let me just go back and just listen for that marker. Now that's okay. That's advanced. And so that's not something that you have to do. That's something that he started adding because he wasn't doing that right from the get-go. More or less jump cuts, B-roll in the first 30 is probably where I would start. And then if you want to start adding sound effects, yes. But the visual is really, really important.
The same team that's responsible for the handmade policy and all those kinds of things.
So yeah, that happened. But the other thing is, again, besides just having that image there and just having it sit there and then go to the next thing, there's a slow zoom on the image. There's also the highlight over the thing. So you're being reinforced exactly what he's saying.
Yep. Okay. So let's keep going.
Policy and all those kinds of things is the team that is responsible for the intellectual property side.
So again, he's talking about it. Instead of just him talking about it, show a visual of it. And you're like, oh, so you're seeing all of these different ways to interpretate it, but also to where you're grasping it.
So copyright.
And now he came back, but if you notice, it's a slow zoom back.
Trademarks, all of those kinds of things. And
then boom, right back at you again. Those are jump cuts. Okay. And Scotty has what he calls his magic 3. So, and we're going to do a video on that. If not already, if it's not already there, it will be.
No, we have I've done a video on that already. So we'll put that in the description. You guys can see that. But I do have my magic 3, which is just 3 different types of jump cuts. One of them being the slow zoom, and the other one being the zoom in that just happened. And then the last one I call it a small zoom, which is it's zoomed in a little bit, but not as much as the other 2. And I kind of just follow a pattern. So if you really paid attention to the videos, you would see it's the same 3. They just keep repeating over and over and over again.
Yeah, it just changes it up a little bit.
It took down 3.8 million listings for handmade.
I'd also say too, one thing that Chris is doing here is, and this is something we always do, is we're using our hands.
Yep.
So that's another little pro tip. Like, even if you didn't edit, right? You didn't edit. Look at what I'm doing right now. Like, you can see my excitement or the point or, this, right? Like, I do that a lot anyway. Just I talk with my hands. I'm just an excited type of person that just, like gets passionate about stuff. But you do it anytime you're doing this stuff. It's also something else that the person's following. So right there, I mean, he's a very hand talker himself. So it comes natural, but that's something you can do almost immediately. Like, even if you're just doing the live and you're not doing any edits, use your hands a little bit. Now, don't do it where you're just forcing it. You want to use your hands when it feels comfortable. But that definitely is a little pro tip.
It's funny. It looks like Chris is doing a sketch. Hey, brother.
Yeah, right. All right.
Policy violation. And they are saying that last year they took down.
Okay. That's that's 24-second marks. And that's not even at the 30. So right away, we were sharing this within the live stream, which, again, another little pro tip. If you're doing live streams, you can have slides and then you can share the slides, and that becomes a different edit in a sense, to where now we're showing this. That slide, it took Chris probably a minute to put that in there. 1.2 million listings taken down for IP violations, right? That was it. And all that is for him and I to see it, to know that we want to talk about it, but also to represent the actual number so people can actually see it.
1.2 for IP violations. Now, I don't know about you, but that seems...
Okay, now we're at the 30-second mark. So he kind of ended on that 30-second mark, and that's it. So let's kind of look at this, though. This is what I thought was interesting as well. Oops, that's going into the comments. I didn't want to go there. Where were the... Okay, this was the retention. This is what we wanted to look at. So down here now, so this is the 30-second mark. 73% of viewers are still watching.
I don't have that on the screen.
Oh, it's not on the screen?
Nope.
Oh, that's because, okay. So again, Scotty, in edit, you're going to post-edit this.
Yeah.
So let me get that out of there. Let's see. We're going to stop and we are going to share. Let's see here. And we're going to go back to the window view. That's the one. So I learned that today too in StreamYard. You have to share a tab if you want to share audio. You can't share a window. So I just learned that myself today. Okay, so here we are. Okay, and this is the retention graph, if you will, right here. So this is all of our stats. Right here, 73% of viewers are still watching at around the 30-second mark. But what I want to look at, and this is the other cool thing that you get to see when you start getting some data, is you get to see like your average. So we're below typical retention for this one, which is totally fine. I mean, it's right there, right? But the cool thing is when you see these little bumps, okay, when you see these little bumps, that means people stopped or they skipped back. And you always want to kind of look at that because that could be something that you could start to incorporate. And so all you do is you just kind of go here and then you just click. If I get my mouse here to work, there we go. So see, on the 1.2 million listings taken down for IP violations, people paused or skipped back because they wanted to see the 1.2 million or they wanted to see something on the screen. So that makes me say like these visuals are really important for people, especially when you are talking about a number or talking about an example or something like that. Like even this right here, like us sharing this, there's people that are probably going to stop and go, what was their average percentage viewed? I want to compare it against mine. I've done that, right? So I might pause the video and then go look at mine and then come back and go, oh, mine's a 40. Cool. I'm doing better than they are or whatever, right? Mm-hmm. So there's different ways that when you're sharing things, it makes it, it just makes it easier for people to want to kind of go back and kind of see. So let's see what this one is. Yep. Same thing. See? So right there, that's another, I think it says here, I'm trying to read it. It's kind of small, but basically it's another percentage of like either how many were rejected. It also looks like there was reports that they challenged by sellers. How many of them were challenged by sellers? So there's different stats that a seller might want to take note of. And so to me, that's all. And I like this here. There's no hard drop like until the end. And the reason why is because right up to the end, we never say at the end, like of a video, we're not like, all right, well, that's everything. I hope you enjoyed this today. We'll be back here next week. We don't do that on these types of videos. On a live stream, we may, because they're longer and they're live. But on this here, this is going to come right to the end. And then we're pretty much either going to recommend a video or we're going to make the last point. And then we will then have a video that is similar, or that would be the next thing that they might need to learn or want to know about. And then we'll pop that up as the next screen. Anything else on this, Scotty, about the retention that we want to go over?
No, I think we talked about, it's really just that first 30 seconds because, and it's not just us saying that, it's literally what YouTube is showing you. And there's a reason that YouTube's showing you retention off the first 30 seconds. It's because that's what, for their algorithm, they're telling you that your video is getting, or is going to get pushed more from more viewers watching it and, or not, you know? So that's why when we're talking about putting emphasis on the first 30 seconds, it's because it's literally what YouTube is telling you to do. And that's what's going to increase your watch time, your views, your reach on YouTube, because YouTube's taking that into consideration. Now, there's other factors too, but that's one of the big ones that shows that your video is interesting enough to push it out to other audiences. So that way you can get more views on a video. So yeah, that's the biggest thing I saw.
Yeah, cool. All right. Well, we are going to share one more thing that I promised in the beginning. And that is, well, we are very big on this, do a live stream, kind of like we're doing right now, and then create other clips, but pre-plan them. This one here wasn't so pre-planned because it literally just happened. So I'll probably have to come up with a really cool title. I usually like to have the titles first and then go into it. But literally this morning, we have another clip or had another clip that went out, okay, from a live that we just did 2 days ago. And it is, it's off to the races and it's doing very well. It was 1 out of 10 in the beginning of the day, and now it slipped to 2 out of 10, but it's well above the top, our top 3 in the last 10 videos. And I want to share that with you guys because once again, this is something that if you're not yet doing this double dipping method, I strongly recommend that you do. We also call it this, you know, the video stacking, stream stacking, as we call it. It's kind of like where you're taking an asset. We're creating this asset right now. We are here. We know that this is not polished. This is, you know, and look at me talking with my hands. And I'm not even trying, Scotty. I'm just talking with my hands.
Too much energy.
It is. But what we want to do always is show up to do the live. And that's really a community piece. It's an audience piece. It's also where you don't have to feel so structured. And I just don't like following a script if I don't have to. I've done it. To me, it's easier to do this. Although some would say, all right, just get to the point already. And those are what the clips are for. Like we've had people that are like, I love your live streams, but man, get to the point. And you get some people that are on, I mean, we've had as many as 600 people live at the same time, and they'll stay all the way to the end. They're not complaining to get to the point because they're true like fans, right? They're people that want to hang out. The people that are like, just give me the nugget. Those are your clips, right? So we're satisfying that side of the audience. And I always tell people, I'm like, listen, if you want that, we've got clips. Just go find it. But we do our live streams on Wednesdays. Our live streams are for the audience, but they're also for us to be able to sit down and do recordings, right? So we just pulled one out of this one that we're going to do on retention. And then this next one will most likely be another play on how you take a clip or from a live and you repurpose it and give some numbers behind it and kind of like a real-time example. So let me pull that up. Let me go ahead and get it ready so we can actually see in real time. Let's see here. So here we are. And that's not where I wanted to be. That's where I wanted to be. Yeah. See, so we're 2 out of 10. See right there. Okay. So let's put me in full screen again. Here we go. So see, this is what we're going to do. We're just going to start it off like this. We're all set up and ready to go. And I usually have the title, but I don't have the title right now. So I'm just going to, come up with one on the fly here. Let me think.
No pressure.
There's no pressure at all. All right. If you're not repurposing your live streams or clips from your live streams, well, you should. I literally just did it again, and I've been doing this for a long time, but I did it this morning, and it's going very well. And I wanted to share it with you hot off the press so you can see in real time how this is actually working. So I've got my editor, my son, on with me. Scotty, are you ready to dive into the latest? I mean, this is exciting.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, cool. All right. Now, here is today's video. You can see 6 hours and 17 minutes. Okay, that's how long this has been up. Remind you, this right here is a clip from a live stream that we did 2 days ago. Okay, 2 days ago. So we did a live stream 2 days ago, and I usually publish every single week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday is a live, Thursday, and Friday. All right. And 3 of those are clips that come from our live streams. And the reason why is because we cover a lot of topics on the live stream, and a lot of people aren't going to make it to the 60-minute, the 90-minute mark. All right. So this is exactly what we did here. Now, this video right here, I believe, and I'll have to look at it here in a second, but I believe it was under 12 minutes. It wasn't super long, but look at this. It's a 2 out of 10 for us. All right. And this one right here, by the way, another clip that we reposted. That one there was doing 2,500 at the same time. So if you're not familiar with like 1 out of 10s, 1 out of 10s are cool, but they also don't always represent a video and how it will do in the future. So don't base everything off of that, but it is kind of cool to kind of see how it's stacking up. But I wanted to share this with you because I knew out of the gate, this was going to be a banger. I knew it was going to do well. It started out beating this one, but then this one here just took off. So right now, though, we're still above this one. This was 1,900 at this point, and right now we're at 2,200. So we've got about a 300 view gap there. But let's dig into it a little bit. Look at that click-through rate, 10.6%.
I'm looking at the view duration, 6 minutes.
Yes, 6 minutes on the view duration. So right now, this is hourly, by the way. So 184. Earlier, it was 450 an hour. Okay. Now that's not typical. Typical is generally, I'd say out of the gate, 200 to 300. So this is definitely above average, but look at this. Browse 71.1, suggested 15%, and notifications 4.8. Okay. YouTube search 3.7. All right. Already gained 9 subscribers from this video. Views are up 14%. More regular viewers are choosing to watch this video, and they're watching longer than usual, helping to increase its reach on YouTube recommendations. All right. Already got 217 hours of watch time. All right. And the reason why, and it can't give me any of this other data yet because, well, actually it did here, not the engagement. It won't give me this yet. See, it doesn't give me anything down here yet, but it does tell me that 6 minutes and 2 seconds is our average view duration. And yeah, look at that. It's up 37.2 more than usual for the watch time. And then the reach, let's look at this real quick. Came out of the gate banging with a 13.3, 11.8. And right now we're hovering right around the 9 and the 8. This here we can't go by yet because this is like almost real time. So I never go by this. It's going to probably be in another hour. I'll get that one, but I'd say we're right around 8-9%, which is pretty good. And we're at 2,000, looks like right here. Yeah. 2,200 views. And the impressions looks like it's starting to taper a little bit. I don't love that, but it's still pretty good. And I'm going to put a guess on this one that it's probably going to, by tomorrow morning, be about 4,000 to 5,000 views. That's going to be my guess. And maybe what we should do here, Scotty, is maybe I should come back or maybe we'll just do an update. Let's do an update. And we will update on this video and let people know how it did. But yeah, so this one here, I mean, again, if you want, we can look at the intro and kind of show people a little bit of the retention stuff. But I just really wanted to let people know that, man, if you are not yet utilizing lives and then, taking those live streams and cutting them up, this was the one that we did. And look at, it's almost 2 hours. Let me go into this one real quick. Okay. So this live stream got 3,858 views since it ended. Okay. Since it ended, which was 2 days ago. Okay. And so right now it's gotten 3,900 views, actually a little bit under. Watch time, 1,600 hours, 17 subscribers, made $53.38. Not too bad. And browse suggested other YouTube features, playlist, external. So basically browse. All right. And then reach, let's look at this real quick, 42,000. And the nice thing I like about this is it's still climbing.
Yep. Still going up.
Still climbing. And then here we're at 5.4, 4.9. So not terrible, but it may be something we might want to play around with as far as the thumbnail. But the crazy thing is, and I don't think I saw that yet. What's the average on this one? The average view, I got to go on engagement. 24 minutes, almost 25 minutes.
That's crazy.
Listen to me, Scotty. What would you say if you could have someone's attention for almost 25 minutes? Do you think that that's better than a short that you have their attention for maybe 25, maybe if you're lucky, maybe 60 seconds?
Oh, absolutely. And
how much more valuable is that?
number one, more valuable. Number two, it's the long form content or long term, long tail. That's the word I
Yeah.
was looking for. Long tail
Yep.
content. So thing is people can search this up 2 years from now, and if it's something that's still being talked about, or not even talked about, but something that someone's trying to figure out, that it can come up. Where if it's a short, it's gone in your feed after a week. No one's going back to that video, or at least if it is, it's 1 or 2 people. It's not much. Plus, once you really dig deep into how videos work and ads and all that stuff, you're not going to make a lot of money on that once you get to monetization anyway. So live is a win-win. It really is. It's number one, you get to optimize the live video itself, and then second, you get to, like you're doing, create separate clips out of it and then capitalize on that.
Yeah. Well, okay. Here's the other crazy thing is, if you want to get monetized, you need 4,000 watch hours. Okay. Is it going to be easier to get 4,000 watch hours if you have a 3-minute video, a 5-minute video, or is it going to be easier if you get a long video that has 24 minutes of watch time? You get that's like 5 videos if someone watched the entire 5 minutes. But here's the deal. If you create a 5-minute video and you get a 30% retention on that, it's only going to be a couple minutes. Okay. Maybe a minute and a half, maybe 2 minutes. We're getting 24.40. Okay. Almost 25 minutes from a long. That's why I'm a big fan of like doing long, right? Just jumping on, know your topic, create 3 topics, start with your main topic, and then put those subtopics in there that are related, and then you're going to cut those up and they're going to be their individual ones. To me, it's just a win-win. But the crazy thing is, and I just realized this, look at this. Look at the retention on this. 93% of viewers are still watching at around the 30-second mark. I honestly, I'm blown away by that. Blown away. And then you can see here, I mean, there's some spikes here too. So you can kind of go into this and say, okay, well, why is that spike there? Let's take a look. So him and I must've just been talking about something interesting, I guess, but we'd have to go in here and analyze it. But that's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
To look at that and be able to go, wow, like that's a lot. Like that's a lot of time, audience like it's just crazy. So I just want to say, like, if you're not taking advantage of live, this is exactly why you should. And like I said earlier, the main reason of doing this video for you was to show you the video that came from this, right? The video that came from this, that right now, let me go back right now, today, has gotten 2,200 views and probably on track to get at least 5,000 or 4,000 by tomorrow morning. I'm going to guess 5.
Yeah.
Because we're not even, what are we, 6 hours and 27
minutes? We're not even
in?
halfway through our first day.
No. So this right here is going to be over 5,000 views by tomorrow morning. Okay. And the live that we did is at 3,900, which is still great.
Yeah.
But this is a video that came from that live. And it's something that I think there's a lot of opportunity here. And to me, it's an easier way to create content. Just like we're doing right here for this. We've done this live stream now. If you've watched all the way to the end, if you're watching this on the replay, let us know, by the way, in the comments. Let us know that you watched this on the replay. And if you have any questions for us, let us know that too in the comments. But this right here was a recording session. And now we're pretty much done. We've been on for an hour and we did a live stream. So now we have that's going to be on our site.
Yep.
From there, on our site, on our YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Then from there, we're going to have 2 videos that are going to be independent with their own thumbnails, with their own titles. And we aren't doing any extra work as far as recording goes. Now we will do a little bit in the post-production where Scotty will do a little bit of the intro work, maybe a little cleanup here and there. But that's about it. And then those videos are going to go live, right? And then they're going to get us views months and years in the future. So I just want to say, anyone right now that is watching this, make sure that you subscribe to this channel if you are at all interested in taking live streams and repurposing your content and really lessening the load on content creation. Because if you can do this strategically, you can spend an hour a week on recording and then get 3 videos for the week. I mean, come on. So again, subscribe to the channel, like this, and there'll probably be a video over here that you can watch that will help you with this process. So watch that one next. You see how I did that? Now that'll be the end of the video. That's how it goes.
Yep.
That's all you do. And the people that are watching this, I bet you that you're like, oh, wow, that's cool. That's how it's done in real time. That's cool. I would like that, because then I'd want to go back and see how you edited it up and cleaned it up and made it more concise.
Yep.
So, yeah. So we just pulled that one right out of the air. So we'll see what happens. You never know. It might be a case study on here that we're like, guys, this video that we did, just like we're doing on the other one. All right. Anything you want to leave people with, Scotty, on retention or anything else that you think that people need to know before we do wrap this baby up?
Simplify everything. Just simplify it. That's our whole motto, our whole goal is to simplify creating content. It doesn't have to be an overload that everyone says it has to be. And that's the one thing I think that we've learned, that simplifying it, and as long as you have value or add value to your videos, then there's nothing that you can do that you can't do in posting a video. Obviously you want to make it look good enough to where it feels good that you're publishing it, but you can find ways to make it easy to do that. And I'm going to add that shameless plug in there. If you're using StreamYard for your live stream, go to startyourlive.com. You'll get us a cup of coffee, cold brew over here. He drinks the hot stuff.
I drink the hot stuff even in 95 degrees.
I don't know how you do that, actually.
Yeah.
But yeah, and in all seriousness, the StreamYard, especially if you're not looking into hiring any editors, or you don't want to do any extra editing on the side, you can just do all these little things that we just talked about today, where you're doing these jump screens and everything while you are live. And that will save you so much time on the post edit, or you might not even have to post edit. Maybe add a little, again, first 30 seconds. And then after that, you're done. So this is also just for, as far as, time consuming goes, like, we're done after this. You could be done after this and have your video exported, ready to go. So yeah, keep that in mind with StreamYard, and go check it out if you haven't already. And that's all I got. You got anything else there, Dad?
No, I think that's going to wrap her up. I would say this: if you guys have any questions for us, we're going to be answering questions. We're going to do dedicated videos to answering questions, because I think that's another opportunity that a lot of people aren't taking advantage of. If you're watching this channel, go look at some of our videos that we shot in the car. We literally had Scotty record me with like 4 questions. I have a little lapel mic, and I basically just answered a question, and that became its own video, and those will live on. So that's something else that you can do. Little tip there for you. But we're going to be doing more of those. So if you have a question that you want us to answer directly, go ahead and drop it in the comments, and we'll answer it. We'll do it on an upcoming video. So anyway, want to thank everyone for watching, and appreciate you guys. And I know Scotty does. And we'll be back next week with another live, because that's what we do. We do live streams. That's what we're all about. All right. So take care, take action. We'll talk to you guys soon.
And that's going to wrap it up.
Let's do this. All right. See you guys.